Hi, welcome to Saint-Tropez. I'm Toby Hodges. This is the Swan 51. This is the first official trials of the Swan 51. We did a full walkthrough aboard, but now we've come here to go sailing. Let's see what it does. Breeze is just filling in a little bit. And you may have already seen the walkthrough I did of this new boat here. It was at the Cannes show last month, and that's obviously already been a popular video for our viewers. Popular model for Swan, obviously a lot of heritage behind it. So what I'm not going to do here is do a full yacht walkthrough again. Now's the chance to sail it. We've been waiting all morning for the breeze to fill in. It's just starting to do so, so it's gone from a mill pond and it's due to, get up to at least double figures this afternoon. So fingers crossed that happens, because we are really looking forward to being able to show you what Swan 51 is like to sail. Look at that, right on cue. Now got 8 knots of wind. Main going up. You may remember, if you saw the walkthrough, this has a load of options on it, this first 51, including full carbon axle and rig and an in-boom furler for the mainsail. This one for the North European owner, who was also the first owner of the first Swan 48. It's very clean lines through this boat, and even this boom, this in-boom system, mainfell system from Denmark, really clean. It doesn't look huge like some do. So yeah, it's a very tidy looking vessel. Yeah, so a lot of options on this as well. Genoa coming out first. Again on an electric furler, controlled from the helm. And then you can see the rubber on the primary there. So that was used as a halyard winch and now used as a primary winch, with the German sheeting on the second winch behind that, but all kept outside this line, keeping it tidy and keeping the cockpit huge. Just slightly overlapping Genoa there, and a nice big J dimension on that. That's a big powerful head sail. This has the chunky bowsprit in there. So I think it's 1.6 meters long from the stem, and there's obviously the anchor roller contained in there, tack point for asymmetric. But this is nice and tidy. It has the powered Selden furlex, both for the Genoa, and the powered Selden furler for the code sail. So we'll get that out in a bit as well. The code. That's a fast furler. This is the bit you don't get at a boat show. Here's the difference. It's pretty hard not to feel like royalty when you're sailing a Swan. And we've got, this is mid-October, beautiful conditions. Yes, the wind's light, but we're in t-shirt and shorts. Final Swan regatta going on in the background, and there's the Club Swan 50s down there. We're just heading out to sea under code 0, trying to find the breeze, because there is meant to be 10 knots or so out to sea. We've got 8 knots at the moment, under code 0. We're sort of sitting at around 6 knots speed over ground and sailing quite tight, so 50 degrees the apparent wind. But yeah, it's about this lovely experience, sporty med type performance cruiser, Gran Turismo type boat, the hands-on feel that it gives you. Very pleasant. Sorry I can't show you that in more breeze, but if it picks up, we'll be on it. So benefit of being at Swan Regatta, albeit on the sidelines, is you get to dip in and out and play with some of the boats, see how you match up against them. And it was interesting sailing against the 58 earlier. We seemed to be very similar, I thought, in speed and heading. And there's the old 48. So that's in a cruising 48 doing this regatta with a nice German crew on board. And yes, Swan have built 64 of that 48, and so it's been a popular model for them, and obviously a lot of those owners looking at this 51 closely to upgrade. And as I mentioned at the Cannes walkthrough, they'd sold 4 of this 51 before that show in September, and 5 since, so 9 boats now sold. Been a busy autumn for them. And then chatting to the owners, the main differences they really feel and see are in that extra bit of beam you get and the volume that gives you. So the bigger, much bigger sail locker, 80% bigger, and 130% bigger fuel tanks. I think, why is the fuel tank important? Well, it was only 350 litres on that boat, 650 litres on this, all very central around the keel. And that's a big difference. Not a motorboat, but it means you don't have to go into port. So chatting to the owner of this one, he likes to spend a good deal of time on board, but the Med harbours are busy, so you don't have to go into port just to use the fuel dock, which is probably also busy as well. You can stay at anchor, use the tender to get into various harbours, but yeah, you got that self-sufficiency for longer when you've got bigger tanks. They've just rigged up a makeshift traveller on here to bring the boom up to the centre. So on that subject, you can have this centre point main, as this has, and that, so you can see it shooted through the boom, forward, and then back very neatly through the coamings, through the coach roof here, through the coaming, and then out to these aft winches, so you have control, easy to reach from the helm each side. The alternative option, they don't do a travel on this, the alternative option is to have a dedicated main sheet winch there, which would then obviously free up that winch. So as you can see here, we have pretty idyllic conditions, late afternoon sailing. It's very light winds. We never found that 12 knots we're hoping for. Got more like 8, 9, 10 for a bit, but now we've got the A2 up and we've only got about 6.5, 7 knots of breeze, and we're matching it with the A2. And I think that's a real key difference with this sort of yacht, is the ability to go out in winds when you probably wouldn't think about sailing on a cruising yacht, and to be able to do so and enjoy it. So to be able to match those wind speeds, and to feel the boat and have real control on it. It's very, very direct steering on this. The twin rudders, outboard, it responds handsomely to it. But it's also nice to feel a 18, so 20-ton essentially loaded yacht sail through the water really quite easily now. You can see, again, we're just matching. Well, we're doing 6.7 and 6 knots true. That's not bad. There's quite a few of us on board. It's a loaded boat, but it's a very enjoyable experience. A Swan experience on the Helm. really nice how the just a knot or two extra breathe. You really feel it. So we're now making 7.5 in 9.5. And as you can tell from that gorgeous sparkles on the water, it's pretty pleasant stuff. It's like the wind is dropping out down to 5 knots now. You can see spinnakers flapping in front of it. But lovely to have a couple of hours of matching, near matching or exceeding sort of 7 to 9.5 knots. I mean, it is hot still as well. I'm cooking here. It's late, no, it's mid-October. It's only 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Not bad. Pretty glorious day in the office. So just before the wind dies completely, I'll show you a little bit what it's like from this helm position. And as you see, it's a nice place to steer a boat from. The benefit of pushing those coamings right outboard, obviously you feel that in the guest cockpit space. That's all free of sailing systems. It's nice and beamy space, but it also puts these 2 winches right out here on the coamings, so you can from the helm still reach that to let off, whether you're letting off the headsail sheet or the main sheet, and they've both got powered winches on them as well. So if needs be, you can sit here, you could straddle the wheel, and you can trim as well, or obviously just ask a crew member to. But yeah, it's coupled with the shape of those coamings. It's that low coach roof, so your sight lines are really nice as well. So yeah, whether you're sailing from windward or leeward, it's a handsome place to sail from. And in terms of what it feels like, yeah, as I said, it's a reactive direct steering setup, dual rudders, outboard. You move the wheel a bit and the boat responds. And it's, yeah, we're still moving along here. We've only got a few knots of breeze and we're sort of still matching it. We're still making headway. So for a 50-foot, 18-ton yacht, you know, a lot of load in it, it's still an enjoyable boat to sail in the light, and that's what I guess a performance sporty cruiser should be. And again, from this pedestal, lovely grip on the wheel, nice to have all this on. It's a really well-designed pedestal. You can lift it up, get full access to it. You've got your plotter on here, throttle controls, bow thruster controls. It's an easy boat to shorthand, I think, at this size. Whereas you step up a gear, up a model to a 55 or 58, there'll be a lot larger yachts to handle. This is still very approachable. I know I said I'm not going to do you another walkthrough, and I'm not. But I do want to show you little glimpses of what it's like under sail, not in a marina. And this, I've really very much enjoyed seeing the comfort of this saloon, the natural light and the horizon views you get out through it. Plenty of space, a lot of comfort, particularly for a yacht that has such a large workable cockpit to use at rest as well. Yeah, it's really very nice. And as I mentioned, without the sheets flapping around because there's waves and very little wind, but it's a very quiet yacht. And yes, you can watch that walkthrough from the Cannes show to see it in boat show mode. Getting this headroom here, I mean, it's nearly 2 meters of headroom here at the entrance of the owner's cabin, and in that shower compartment in there, because the sole is lowered down. It's so important especially for some of their taller North European clients, to have that. So it's got a high freeboard, low coach roof to keep the lines nice and sleek. That was part of the brief to Helm and Frers. And yeah, this benefits of the headroom you get here, so it's 1.87 I think in the companionway area, the aft cabins, and the, I don't know, who's alongside us here?
Swan 54.
Sorry, got distracted. What was I saying? Oh yeah, and the extra stowage. So just really that was the feedback from the 48 owners. Stowage everywhere and more stowage. And as I said in that first video, this is a special yacht, both for Swan and for Frers. The 51 model means something. It's what they started their relationship with. So Nauta knew they needed to get this right. And it's a really important boat as well, as I said, for all of their owners they've currently got that are interested in stepping up from the 48. What this brings, I know it doesn't sound like a lot in terms of size, but from what I'm hearing, they notice the difference a lot. As I mentioned before, these winches you can work from the Helm, but you know, it is a bit of a stretch on that forward one. That's also a small but deep opening for that tailing locker. So yes, it's good to have that designed in to get all of these line tails squirreled away there, but you would have to be very organized about that. So a bit of a shame they didn't make that opening a bit larger in my books. I think that would help keep this cockpit really tidy, particularly how much effort has gone into, as I just said, keeping all those lines very, very clean. The other thing I would watch out for really is with a single point main. That's a lot of load on there, so you and your crew have to be careful of that. And if you're asking crew to basically use this area here, so kneeling on this aft bench to let a sheet off, you know, you're in the way of that. So it's just, you'd have to be mindful. So obviously the design has gone for making this bench area as long as possible, including this section here. So you do have to kneel over that when you're thinking, you know, going to leeward here to operate those winches. You should have a look on this side. That's how it looks once you tied it all away. So it does make a big difference. It doesn't, not having that snake pit there, you know, keeping it all tidy does make a big difference to operation. These buttons here are for the Genoa furler. So yeah, in terms of shorthanding, you know, you can let the sheet off and operate the head sail furler without leaving the helm. Comments on that first video about your comfort in the helm area. Well, sat on here, which is a nice little perch, but that again, that combing design that widens out there is continued right off, so you get you keep a dry bum. You know, the water's going to run down those decks, and that's the side deck is continued right off into that really nice sweeping curve shape. It's still a very elegant looking craft, and they've obviously worked very hard on that. Anyway, so you either sat out to windward or leeward on that part there is, you know, very comfortable obviously, but if you do want something to brace against, these optional granny bars work well, and then those are just lifting foot plates each side for when you are heeling more than we were today. In the terms of construction, this is a Vinylester glass fibre yacht, so full laminate, solid laminate below the waterline, and it's fully cored with Corsair foam. This lovely dark blue, if you want to go for that, it's painted, so post-cured and painted, or white is in gel coat, and obviously painted. You could choose the colour you want. I like these dark blues, very nice. And that results in a lightweight displacement of around 18 tonnes, so loaded, I guess, just over 20. And you can choose, in terms of underneath the waterline, you've got the twin rudders. You can choose a 2.1 metre shallow draft keel, or like this, which is a 2.45 metre keel. Here is the sail locker on the Swan 51, which, as we mentioned on the walkthrough, is now 80% larger than the Swan 48 before. And now reason I'm showing it again is because we've taken the sails out. So you can come in here with me and have a little look. So the nice thing about it is it's nice and long. It's not that high because you have the bow thruster under here, so there's a raised floor section, but that has a watertight hatch over that bow thruster. Bow thruster is standard, and the nice thing is leading this chain back to that bucket aft on the watertight bulkhead, which is set right far aft. So not only does that bring the weight back, it's also offset because your sails, furling sails, are typically sort of sausage shaped these days, so they need the length to be able to store them. And then you've got the tender outboard on that aft bulkhead as well. Everything is shifted further aft because the mast is further aft to balance the sail sections. The main and the head sail are the same sort of size. The watertight bulkhead further aft, the main forward cabin further aft, the main bulkhead further aft. So all the space, you're getting the benefit of that extra beam throughout the boat. And now we'll put those, the spinnaker and the extra head sail up into this locker now. And there's that soft loop, the soft pad eye for the removable staysail that goes just aft of the sail locker there, right on that bulkhead. Showing you the real benefit of having a swim platform with a modern beamy boat. Really extends your cockpit space. A couple of steps down. So here's inside the dinghy garage at sea. Got that slightly raised so that any waves aren't going to come in, poop me. But you see it's shallow but nice and wide, and fit a 2.7 metre inflatable in here pretty easily. And then further forward of this bay, you've got a bit of, well, on the sides you've still got a bit of room to access the steering gear. So there's the chain moving from the steering column with the autopilot on there. It's the Jaffa steering system, and there's the top of one of the rudder stocks, and then the bar that connects all the way across to the other side to the other twin rudder. And then further forward of that, really nice to see, a watertight bulkhead obviously on a Swan, and yeah, particularly in this day and age, comforting feature to have, because marine life liking to bite rudders. You know, if you lose a rudder, you don't want to have to lose the boat. Really dreamy spot, isn't it? As we head back in to Saint-Tropez. Sorry, I couldn't bring you more wind. It's not my fault. We tried. This was meant to be the best day of the week for it. Anyway, I hope you can appreciate it is a sporty performance cruiser. We could keep sailing in single digits and enjoy it. And I think it's quite interesting as well to be at an event with this, to speak to the other potential clients and owners of these sorts of yachts and what they're looking for in it. And you can see how this is stealing or has replaced those of the 48 and the potential buyers for that. The other thing that strikes me is, are they kicking themselves a little bit in that it will be taking the Swan 55 and 58 owners, particularly those that are couples or want to shorthand the yacht, because this is a lovely, lovely size to do that rather than moving up to that sort of size. In terms of pricing, this starts at 1.45 million ex-tax, which is actually quite competitive in that market area. And then, so a fully equipped yacht like this, you're looking at about 2 million euros. This one is very highly spec'd though. So I guess that does beg the question, if this is now the entry-level Swan, a 1.5 million 51 footer, can we expect a smaller Swan to come? Stay tuned.